Rocco, talk.
Hello?
Guys, are we back?
Hey.
We have audio?
Yeah, let's fucking
We're
go.
back.
I had to watch everyone just shit talk me in the
There
chat
we
the whole time.
go.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Rocco, you're still on.
Thank
camera.
God for all my help. I figured it out.
Woo!
I figured it out, guys.
We can take that banner off. How's it going? Wow. Good to be heard.
Thank God I'm here.
God
Yeah.
Zora is just cooking me in the chat right now. I just had to, I couldn't say anything back. Couldn't talk that smack at all.
Oh my God, it's so
Just
loud.
chowing down.
Back. Well, turn it down, Gandalf. I can't control your audio too. It's hard enough over
I
here.
know.
God damn it.
We've got our own issues over here.
Jesus.
I think I might eat the whole bag.
Yeah, you know what? Knock yourself out. It's not hard. It's not hard. Can we start over?
Yeah.
Football is back, baby.
Yeah.
The Ravens haven't played a game in almost 14 days, and I couldn't be more pumped to finally talk about football. Well, don't get me wrong. Dallas was amazing. The MLB winter meetings were amazing. Rip isn't here, and nobody gives a shit.
Yep.
We're here to talk about football.
Rocco.
Rocco's over there eating nerds. Zach's over there running the command center.
Here we go.
And we're here to just talk football all day. Fellas,
Oh,
how we feeling?
Rocco.
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little hoarse right now, but hopefully the
Yeah, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna disclose as to why.
Rocco.
I don't know what that means, but great to see y'all.
Rock, you're so easy. Zach, how's it going, my man?
It's going well, Rocco. Listening to you try to eat those, he's still just downing the nerds over there. But it feels good to have Ravens game day back, baby. Like you said, it's been like 14 days. It just and yeah, Joe, I got to talk about it.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
we're rocking
Stand up, show the
Justin
people.
Tucker today. Quick jersey reveal.
Tell the people why.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, unfortunately,
Do we have
some,
it?
yeah.
we gotta
I have it.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry. I
Okay.
have it. Unfortunately, sometimes don't meet your heroes is all I'm going to say, because sometimes Kyle Hamilton had some unfortunate propaganda wearing on the train entering to New York yesterday. And I just can't stand for this. Unfortunately, rocking the Calvert Hall sweatshirt. This is,
Where did he get that from?
I don't know, Brad. And did he not watch the Turkey Bowl? Does he not know who won? It's just unfortunate to see such poor taste from a star safety. I mean, it really is just sad. So the Kyle Hamilton jersey was put on a 1-game suspension. We will reevaluate. The committee will get together over the weekend and figure out the following steps of how we are going to go forward with this. But it is a tough day, for all involved, but it had to happen.
I personally like the Cardinals apparel. I think it's a great jersey, great school.
Rocco, shouldn't
One
you
of the
be
best.
like down in all
One
those
of
nerds
the
right
best.
I'm not
In
gonna
the
lie.
area?
Out of all the private schools, they probably have the best logo.
Who
They
went
do.
there? Did Mel Kiper go there? Calvert
now? Yeah,
Hall?
Mel Kiper went
Yeah,
there.
what draft analyst went to Loyola?
This guy's
This guy, yeah. Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
Ryan
I
Ripken
mean-
show host.
Unbelievable.
No big deal.
Yeah.
North Carroll High School.
You see, these are the vibes we need today. Gunnar, you can just Rocco, you can just leave.
Oh my God! All right, who's ready to
Okay.
talk some football?
Let's
So,
talk some football.
Ravens are playing Giants this afternoon. It's a 1:00 game. Here's an interesting stat, fellas. John Harbaugh's never won against the Giants in New York. What the hell's up with that?
Yeah, that is that's one of those like weird NFL stats. Like you just sort of like Lamar Jackson not losing to the NFC, obviously just lost to the Eagles and then the Giants prior to that, but it's just the most random teams. Like the Giants for some reason can't beat them on the road. So despite what you say, Rocco, 16.5-point spread right now.
16.5-point spread. And for those that don't know, that is currently the biggest favorite spread of the 2024 season. They had it at 16 points and it's gone up since a half point. So it's crazy to see that number, but we understand why that number is there.
Yeah, the Ravens lead the series all time against the Giants, but they're only 4-3. against the Giants, which is also weird because the Giants historically have not had good teams. And last meeting, the Giants, what was Lamar Jackson's only loss to an NFC team. Now he has 2 against the NFC East.
Although we can spin zone it. He's only lost to Saquon. Saquon was on both those teams, so we just as long as you don't have Saquon, you're good.
That's a very good point. So, what do we think about this game? Obviously, it should be an absolute drubbing, especially since the Ravens have had almost 2 weeks off, and the Giants are just absolutely terrible. Is there any chance the Giants have a shot at this game?
Yes, because it's the Ravens, and I've seen how they play to their competition. But like you said, it shouldn't be. On paper, it absolutely should not be a game. This is a game that I'm looking for a guy like Derrick Henry to just take over. If Lamar Jackson passes for like 100 yards, I'm okay with that. The Giants are horrendous versus the run this year. Every team has taken advantage of them there. They rank in the bottom 2 to 3 in the league in almost every defensive run category. Derrick Henry needs to have a massive day. Justice Hill have a massive day. And honestly, the thing that I'm looking for today, because this is the start of 3 games in 10 days for Baltimore. You got up next Saturday, you have Pittsburgh, and then the quick turnaround to Christmas against the Texans. This is a game where I would love for the Ravens to get out early, get ahead, get up 3 scores going into, in the third quarter, and give the ball to Justice Hill. Give the ball to Keaton Mitchell. Let those guys be the guys getting the touches at the end of the game so you don't have to have Derrick Henry take this brutal beating for 60 minutes just to come up and have 2 more games in 9 days. I think this is a game where I would love to see the Ravens get ahead early to really set themselves up for the next 2 games. Because if you get into a dogfight with this Giants team, with the 2 games coming up that you have, that's the last place you want to find yourself.
No, absolutely. And the Ravens, this 14-day off period was much needed, not because they've been playing bad football, but because of the grueling stretch you have coming up. When we looked at the schedule when it first got released, we were like, who did the Ravens piss off last season, schedule makers wise, to have this stretch of the teams they're playing coming up? Not only that, but the amount of games they're playing in that span, and to be playing on Christmas again. Like, fans might think it's cool to pop on the TV and see the Ravens play on Christmas, but for the players and for the PR staff and for everyone else, like, to spend Christmas away from home again, it's like, damn, like who did they actually piss off? But for this, Zach, what you said is, you'd like the Ravens to get out to a fast start. Yes, they should get out to a fast start. And I want to see the Ravens play complete game, all 4 quarters,
Please
come out, take care of business with the Giants, because if you let this team lurk and sit around, it's not going to be a fun game to just be a part of, because number one, knock on wood, of course, with this, MetLife is a grueling place to play. It is. And I'm just saying it is. It beats up the bodies of the opposition and the Giants as well. The field sucks. So first and foremost, I want to see the Ravens get out of this game as healthy as humanly possible, but I want to see them play a complete game, go out and just dominate on both sides of the ball, because the Giants are the dumpster fire of football right now. They're an absolute joke. They've gone through some shit.
Is this right? And you might have said this. The Giants are allowing 141 rushing yards a game.
Yeah, the Ravens should run for over 200 easily.
Is that they're not dead last in rushing defense?
No,
28th. So who's the other 2 teams that are terrible?
4 teams.
4 teams.
Well, I know that the Cowboys, I'm pretty sure, are up there. I'm sure maybe the Bengals. No, because it's the Bengals is the pass. Yeah. I don't know. Bronco, look that up.
That's crazy though. 141.7 yards rushing a game is what they're allowing, and they ranks them 28th. So how much worse are the other 4 teams?
Yeah.
The other 3 teams.
Yards per game, are we talking, Brad?
Yeah.
Yards allowed.
Per game on average.
Rushing yards allowed per game.
All right. So the Giants are 4th to last. Can you guess the other 3 teams?
That's literally what we.
No, I'm saying. Can you guess them, idiot?
Yeah, we have Brad. Have we not been taking guesses?
Would you like to pull one out of your magic hat?
Yes. I said the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys are 1. Okay.
Are they dead last?
No, the Cowboys are 3rd to last.
Ooh.
Oh. Who else is in that category?
Is it like the Titans?
Nope, but same division as the Titans.
The Colts?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. And then, so they're second to last, and then Carolina's dead last, which isn't surprising at all. Like, I mean,
But,
yeah,
that's
170
crazy.
yards on the ground per game. So the bottom 4 teams.
107. Can you imagine?
Yards on
Derrick
the ground.
Henry against,
So
God damn.
that's what I'm saying, man. The 4 worst teams are averaging at least 140 yards against them, and then the Panthers are just in a category of their own with 170.
Yeah,
so
that's absolutely wild.
It's not great, Bob.
They've given up 18 rushing touchdowns, 14 passing touchdowns, 194.7 passing yards per game as well. I mean, this should be, it should be, pulling the starters at the fourth quarter type of game, I would imagine.
I hope so. And Rock,
hope.
I like how you put. I would love to see a complete game from the Ravens. Just 60 minutes, all 3 phases, because this is a game that you should be. You're coming off the bye week. You've had 14 days to prepare for a 2-win Giants team. You got Tommy DeVito starting. It's not even their second string. It's their third string guy. This on paper is a game that you would love to see the Ravens go out there. Offense flows, defense gets stops. We see good special teams play. This is one of those games where it's kind of, I don't want to call it a get right game necessarily, but it's a game where you're positioned going into this final stretch, the final 3 games, trying to win a playoff spot, outside of the wild card, still trying to win the North. This is a game that you want to get the momentum going. You want to come out there, play well on offense, play well on defense, play well on special teams, just kind of dominate all 3 phases to get the confidence going through the tough stretch.
They have very few weapons, the Giants, on the offensive side of the ball. Like that's and Neighbors is the guy that on a good day he scares me. Or a Tyrone Tracy doesn't scare me. He's not a guy that I'm like, oh my God. But he's a guy that could potentially find the end zone. Like he's a guy that he's always going to try to find a way to get. But looking at the Giants and just their offensive production and who they have had, like they should wipe the floor with Tommy DeVito today. Like they should just go out and especially with a guy like Michael Pierce set to come back, clogging up the middle. It's just like, I think I saw someone say like incoming 2-sack day for Odafe Owe. It's his birthday. Like things like this should happen. This is a Ravens team that we should watch today and talking about, okay, they beat the absolute dog crap out of the Giants, but they should have. Not that, the Ravens let the Giants hang around in the fourth quarter and it was a 5-point win and they didn't cover the spread. Like this is it. The spread's the spread for a reason.
Yeah.
So
like you said, the spread's the spread for a reason. The Ravens should take care of business.
Well, I would make the argument that this is a get-right game. There couldn't be a better scenario here. We're going to talk about this in just a moment, about the bye week and actually what Michael Lombardi said about how this could potentially be the best time for the Ravens to have had a bye week. Not only a bye week, but then coming into a game where they should absolutely be a confidence booster. Get the shit done. Get the shit right that they've needed to get right all along against a team that they should beat handily, because then after that, it's the Steelers, and we know how hard it is for in-division games, particularly in the AFC North, to actually sweep. So Ravens could very well win that game. Then you have Houston Texans, which Texans aren't what they were last year, and then you have the Browns. So there is a very high likelihood that the Ravens could win out, and they could get off on the right foot by winning an absolutely dominating type of performance today.
Yeah, and that's where, I think the confidence aspect comes in, and it's an underrated part of this end of year, late bye, is you get rested up at the perfect time. As we were saying, we're going to react to what Michael Lombardi was talking about last week, where this does seem like it's the perfect time for the Ravens, because not only did you have a tough loss against the Eagles, so now you sat there and it was kind of a reality check of, hey, things are going well, defense is playing better, but we are nowhere near where we need to be.
Right.
You get that reality check, you have to sit on it. Going into this bye week, you get healthy, you get rested up. Now you're coming in against an opponent that you should play a complete game against. If you're able to come off the bye healthy down this final stretch and go, okay, we got the confidence back, I'm feeling a lot better about this team being able to run the table than if they kind of struggled today. It's a last second win. They have to hold on, a type of escape, like you said, trap game, Rocco. If we have another one of those scenarios, then you kind of sit there and you're like, okay, something's happening with this team.
I see something. I see John in here saying, slow your roll, boys, stranger things. I completely agree, John.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And you have every right to say that and say, because you look at a team that had no business hanging around with the Ravens. What was it, last year or 2 years ago? I'm thinking when Gardner Minshew was the quarterback and ended up
last
losing
year
that
with
game.
the Colts.
It was last year. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
But here's what gives me confidence about the Ravens. Coming out of the bye last week, they absolutely dominated, and they had a late bye like they do this season. It wasn't as late. It was actually a week earlier. But look at the schedule they played afterwards. The 49ers were one of the teams that everyone had their eyes on. And I know the Dolphins, they hadn't beaten anybody really last year, and that was our biggest thing. It's like, look out for the Dolphins. The Ravens handle business. But I have confidence that this team, that they're well rested. They took this bye for a reason. That was the goal. And everyone was like, damn, like they're going to have this week. But yeah, they have the bye sitting right there. Yeah. And then they have those 3 games coming up or 4 games coming up. So last year they went, 4-1? Their only losses to the Steelers when they sat their starters.
Yeah, so let's play that. So Michael Lombardi went on the Pat McAfee show and talked about this bye week and how it could be instrumental in the way that the Ravens play the rest of the season. And then Pat McAfee and company ended up reacting to that. So, and we wanted to react to that too. So Zach, go ahead and play that clip real quick.
Pill around. What do you think about Baltimore right now? And do you think their bye week is one of the best placed bye weeks in all of the NFL because of the fact that they can figure out what they need to do to close out this season, right?
Well, they gave up 7 points. I mean, Tucker's missed extra point in the 2 field goals. That hurts whenever you're playing in a game, and it hurts momentum. And I think that was a problem. Plus, they get penalized way too much. I think it's the perfect time for a bye for them. And look, Lamar's going to play better than he did in that game. Their offense has to play better. But I think what happens to them is sometimes in these games they get a little bit impatient. It didn't happen at the Charger game when they got behind. They were able to stay the course. But when teams take away what they do best and make them play left-handed, they can't have drop passes like they had. He had 2 great throws to Aguilar that were as good as any throw in the league. And, he just didn't, and Aguilar didn't make the catch. So, to me, that becomes a problem. I think, to me, Baltimore is still a team that I don't want to play because they are getting better defensively. And that's been the concern about them all year is, are they good enough defensively? Can they cover well enough? And I think we saw that they did a better job. They held them to 118 yards passing. I wouldn't give up on Baltimore yet. Now, maybe Pittsburgh's going to win the North, but Baltimore can come back. They've got to figure out this Tucker thing because John Harbaugh's right. There's not a better kicker on the street than Tucker right now. But they got to get his confidence back because I think if he goes out there in a game in January at 45 yards and it's windy, we're not as certain he's going to make it as we once were.
Yeah, I hope he battles through it mentally. But everything we're saying about this Baltimore team, and obviously Tucker has to get back right, and hopefully we'll see Lamar do Lamar shit because that's fun, and it feels like Lamar wants to do that, especially against the Giants coming up. That's fun.
Look out.
That's fun, especially if Dexy's going to get him, Then here we go. We're off and running. They have a Ram truck in the backfield, too. Yeah. 2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Patrick Ricard and Derrick Henry.
Couple diesel.
A couple 2,500 heavy duty.
That's right.
And whenever they decide to hit that gas pedal third, fourth quarter, it's a ram.
Yeah, so he wasn't wrong, but no. Anyway, so what Michael Lombardi was saying, I think, is true. It's not just about the bye; it's about how they're getting right as well. So that's why I think personally that it could be one of those get right type of games. Talked about the defense. The defense has obviously been a glaring issue all season long, and he's right. The last few games, the Ravens defense has started to look really good.
Yeah.
And not allowing a touchdown against the Steelers. And they had a decent defensive performance against the Eagles as well, despite losing that game too. It's just been kind of tough that, giving up 7 points on special teams has been, it's hard to overcome. But regardless, I think that there's something to be said for that. The defense is getting right. They've had almost 14 days off. You got an opportunity to just go in and lay the smackdown on a terrible Giants team. And so if they do that, I think that this sets them up really good for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we've been talking about with momentum and everything. And this is the game that this was the perfect time for the Ravens to get that bye because you are able to sit there in the last quarter of the season. Not many teams, you have teams that their bye weeks were 7, 8, 10 weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
So those teams are playing, if you go down the full stretch, they have to play like 17 games in a row if they want to make it to the Super Bowl. The Ravens have to play 8. If the Ravens want to win it all, let's say the Ravens win out, it's 8 games.
Yeah.
It's 8 games. So that really puts into perspective how critical and crucial this late bye is, because you had a week to now you had time to sit down and truly look at yourselves in the mirror and go, how do we get better in these situations, in these top spots on the team? Because during the week when you're preparing for the next opponent, I mean, they had the Chargers and it's a short week. They played on Monday. They had the Eagles that next Sunday. Short week. You don't have time to really have a complete overhaul of what do we want to do? How do we want to change this, that, and the other? Bye week this late in the season gives you that opportunity. Rest up, change kind of what you think needs to be changed, and then it's full go. That's why we talked about how nice it is, should be on paper that you had the Giants coming out of this late bye, because this is the perfect opportunity. Hit the ground running, go, and just don't look back.
Well, not only that, Zach, I want to bring this up as well. Lamar's success against the NFC has been very, very solid. What's he got? 2 losses, and one is to this team with Daniel Jones when they had Daniel Jones still on their team. And then the other one
was to Saquon Barkley.
Okay, again, but it was Giants and Eagles. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are the 2 losses? So, and the Eagles last week. So that gives me confidence with the Ravens heading into this game. Just the past success. And while we're talking about past success, I know it's a new week, new year, whatever. Lamar Jackson, for a guy that absolutely hates the cold, that is bundled up in 60-degree weather here in Baltimore sometimes. His success in December speaks for itself as a starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens over the years. If you go back since even 2018, looking at his record when he started games in December, pretty damn solid. Mm-hmm. So I think he's got 3 or 4 losses. I know I don't have the numbers up here right now, but just going back and looking, you just see win, maybe a loss sprinkled in there. So Lamar in December, he knows it's game time. He knows he has to ball out, especially this time of the year, to set the tone for his team heading into playoff football. And the Ravens, they're absolutely a playoff team. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. But during this stretch, they absolutely need to prove it and make a statement with this game here today.
Yeah, I agree. And look, we hope that you guys agree too, if you're a Ravens fan out there. That being said, thanks for joining the show. Hit that like and subscribe button. We certainly would appreciate it. And I want to move and switch gears a little bit to the rest of the NFL. This has been brought to you by Adams Jeep of Maryland. You guys in the market for a Jeep or a used Jeep even, or maybe even you don't have a Jeep, but you're looking to upgrade it. You're looking to maybe enhance the performance of that vehicle. Maybe Viagra it up. Anyhow, Adams Jeep of Maryland has been sponsoring the show since practically day one. They've been absolutely amazing. They're our OG sponsor. So if you are in the market for a Jeep, go check them out over there in Aberdeen, right next to the Ripken Stadium out there in Aberdeen, Horn. All right, look, the rest of there's some great games this week.
Fantastic
really
games.
Yeah.
The
night and day from last week too.
Steelers and Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be an awesome game. I didn't know this up until this week. The Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965.
Wow.
That is some streak.
They
haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965.
It's almost 60 years?
Well,
59?
Also, this is the anniversary of Eagles fans pelting Santa Claus with snowballs.
Oh my! There's no way they lose.
Yeah,
there's no way they lose.
I don't know if it's they have that working for them as well. So a higher power on their side, which is
how's that make you feel?
That's what it is.
Brock?
Not great, Bob. Again, I'll drop that line again. It's yeah. Because that was, you talk about Eagles fans and the bad rap they get, like Philly fans in general. That is what everyone points to as the snowballs at Santa Claus. Eagles fans are like, you know what? If you don't like us, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Never claimed
to
give a
Santa
shit.
Santa was drunk.
The Steelers have been playing like that all season, though. The defense has been absolutely incredible. The offense started to flip the switch when Mike Tomlin went against his entire staff and brought Russell Wilson in, and obviously ended up being the right decision. So, in your opinion, as a
Steelers insider.
Steelers insider. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
No, so honestly, from a fan's perspective, how do you feel about going into this game?
I actually feel really good. I feel better than I have for the Steelers going into Philadelphia than I would have if not knocking Justin Fields, but when Tomlin made that switch, he did it for a reason.
Yeah.
Justin Fields had success record-wise, but the Steelers' offense at times was very stagnant, and there's times where the Steelers' offense is still very stagnant, and they can't do that against a Philadelphia Eagles team, especially with a defense that they have. I mean, the Ravens saw it last or 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago. It's been a while, but they have some dogs at the defensive back position. Cooper DeJean being one of them. Quinion Mitchell another.
What an absolute dog
DeJean
is.
I mean, what a tackle.
I mean, if you're in Philly, it's DeJean, right?
Yeah, DeJean, exactly. That's what they're calling him.
DeJean.
That's what they're calling him. Cooper Sharp DeJean. But it's a game where I think the Steelers could absolutely win. I think everyone, the Steelers are plus 210 or plus 200 right now on the like money line. So.
And Mike Tomlin's had a winning record when he's the underdog.
And Mike Tomlin does have a winning record when he's the underdog. And this Steelers offense at times, they show really good, show really good signs. And I like, but here's the thing going for the Steelers again this week. George Pickens out, Russell Wilson's favorite target.
Right.
So that absolutely sucks. That's a big piece of the Steelers offense that, will not be playing today in Philadelphia. On top of that, you add into storylines, we're talking about snowballs at Santa and whatnot. The whole A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts drama, wide receiver, quarterback in Philadelphia, obviously not the first time it happened. You go back to Terrell Owens, Donovan McNabb, not to the magnitude of Owens and McNabb, but you sprinkle that in. And those two guys, they heard the media talk about it all week long. They heard people say, are they on the same page? Are they still as close as they were? Are they still boys? I'm looking for Jalen Hurts, and the Steelers are going to be on the unfortunate end of it. Ravens fans, you can be happy as hell. I'm looking for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown to both have a big game and to kind of get back on the same page and just, have their way today.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I look at Joey Porter Jr. and the ups and downs he's had this season, and if he's anywhere near A.J. Brown, I do not feel good. But things could go a different way.
Who else would you put, though?
Yeah.
Like, who else would you feel comfortable on? Like, it's got to be Joey Porter Jr.
I mean, got to follow him around, but don't feel great about it. But I feel better, which is crazy than I have in years past. I think the Steelers absolutely have a chance.
1965 is the last time the Steelers won in Philadelphia. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, it's going to be a great game to watch.
Well, how old were you? You were like 13 years old, right?
I was not even – my mom wasn't even born. My mom was not even born the last time the Steelers won in Philadelphia.
Insane, man. What was it? You said 60, 61?
65.
65.
Oh, man. My parents were like 4 and 5. Crazy. Crazy to think about.
That's wild.
Zach, you weren't even a thought yet.
Yeah.
His parents were
I was going to say my parents were like, I think my dad was 3 and my mom was like 1. Like, yeah, obviously. I hope I wasn't a thought.
Jesus Christ, Rocco.
Jesus.
Fuck's sake.
He is.
There's another incredible game this week that we need to keep our eye on, fellas, and it's Buffalo versus Detroit.
It's going to be so fun.
This is going to be an absolute slugfest. It's on CBS today at 4:25. I couldn't be more excited for a game this week than this Buffalo-Detroit game. You got Detroit's arguably the best team in the league. That's NFC, AFC. They're just probably the most balanced team in the NFL,
which is crazy, Brad, because you look at all the people they've lost on their defense this season, and they're still winning football games.
They went and got Zadarius Smith,
yeah,
and that's been a huge difference maker for them on defense too. But then you have Buffalo, Josh Allen, MVP favorite, and what they've been doing out there. I think Keon Coleman's back this week as well, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be an incredible game to watch. I hope.
I have a hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take. I think Detroit just runs them out of the building.
See, and I was thinking that too.
Like I think
I want it to be an incredible game.
I do
right?
too.
I want it to be an incredible game, but I just go back to like the Ravens-Bills game.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like it could be for the Bills. The Bills could have a similar type day if it doesn't go well for them in the beginning of the game.
Well, it's just, and the biggest reason is the Bills struggle against the run, and like there's not a more creative and dynamic. Like obviously you can say Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, but for different reasons, because that also includes the quarterback. And you saw what the Ravens were able to do to Buffalo with their run game. That offense of Detroit just versus that Buffalo defense, I could see Detroit just having a really good game. And if Josh Allen, it's going to be, I think, up to Josh Allen. It's whether or not he's able to make this a shootout is how they'll have a chance to win this. But if the Lions can get 2 or 3 stops early in the first half, I think this could get out of hand pretty quickly, just because it's not even anything against Buffalo. I just think Detroit is so good right now.
So good. I think they win the Super Bowl this year. I really do. And Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be a good game still. Again, I hope that it's a good game. But you're right. Like if it gets ugly in the beginning, I'm struggling to see how Buffalo can overcome that, and it could end up turning into what it was with versus the Ravens in week 3,
especially because Dan Campbell, the last thing Dan Campbell ever does is take his foot off the gas. We saw when they've been up 40 and they're running
goes for fourth. Everybody's shocked when John Harbaugh went through for it on fourth down. What, on 16-yard line? Whatever the hell that was.
It's crazy.
I mean, Dan Campbell just does that shit all the time.
Yeah, he doesn't even question it, and no one questions it when when John Harbaugh did it, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Harbaugh's doing this." Dan Campbell does it. People are like, "Yeah, expected."
Yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, of course he did."
Yeah.
With Josh Allen and with the Bills, sorry.
Bulls.
Different sport. You see a guy, you're talking about him being the MVP front runner, Brad.
Yeah.
No better way to cement that than to go out and do big things against the team people could think could win the Super Bowl, like you just talked about in the Lions. So
yeah,
we talk about statement games. We talked about this being a statement game for the Ravens, even though they're playing the Giants and they're 16.5-point favorites. They should dominate. For Josh Allen, same thing. You're naive, and I don't think anyone sits there and says, "Oh, Josh Allen's not thinking about like what this means for him as well." Seems like a team guy, but if you're in that conversation, you flip on the TV and you're hearing week in and week out, MVP Josh Allen, MVP season, you got to live up to those expectations.
Yep.
You got to go out and, throw for 3 touchdowns, run for and put not only your team, but yourself on the map. If you're trying to win that award. And if players say that they only care about a Super Bowl, they're wrong, man.
Yeah.
There's incentives, there's awards individually
sure.
that they care about. So this is one that Josh Allen, he gets an MVP. You're talking about Josh Allen being an MVP for the rest of his life, rest of his career. So he's got a good chance to do so, but it can't be a Josh Allen game where he goes out and he's been really solid this year, but can't go out and lay an egg against the Detroit Lions because they'll rip you out of that conversation as quickly as they put you in. I was just
about to say that. So if they lose this game, does that mean Lamar Jackson's back on top as far as the favorite for MVP?
He's not going to be back on top, but it makes it more interesting. And the biggest thing, like you just talked about, it's the fact that in these big games against guys, he beat Mahomes, which he's going to, that's his, that was his moment. Like that was his moment to build on. But then you would compare to the other games that he's played against the Ravens, gets blown out, against they lose to the Rams, and then it would be against the Lions. So it starts to get to the point of, okay, they're not winning those big games whenever it's getting up to it. Personally, I still think it's Josh Allen, even if they lose. We saw them lose last week, and his odds went up. Got better
because Lamar Jackson wasn't playing.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But even if they lose, I find it very hard to see anyone but Josh Allen winning.
I'm glad
MVP
you brought that up, though, Zach, with the Josh Allen in big games, because what did we talk about on this show? 2-3 weeks ago, Ryan Clark brought up the Lamar Jackson in big games, and Lamar needs to show up in the big games. Well, so does Josh Allen, and this no game bigger than playing the Lions, playing the best team in the NFC, one of the best teams in football, and going into their house and playing. So last week, it was a vintage Buffalo Bills offensive game where they end up losing 44-42, but we think of the games against Patrick Mahomes, the shootouts offensively. I would love for football to see another one like that this week. It would be a disservice if we didn't see like a close, high-scoring game. Jared Goff and Josh Allen dueling it out at Ford Field. Like, I would absolutely love to see it. And again, Josh Allen comes out on top. That furthers this narrative that he's the MVP this season. So
if he wins this game, he's MVP, no question. He'll be. I would say he probably ends up being unanimous.
I won't say unanimous just because there's just some spiteful voters out there. Like last year's
guy that's just Lamar.
Because last year the Buffalo writer who left Lamar off his ballot completely, and it was his only. Like I could see. That's why
the Ravens writer this year was like, you know what? It's like, I know they don't like.
Is it Jeff Zariba?
I wonder, dude, who it is.
Because I could see Jeff. Jeff would be savage enough to be like, I'll return the favor.
Oh, unanimous? Yeah, we're gonna do you. We're gonna do you one better.
I'm just saying, you beat Patrick Mahomes, and then you beat the best team in football.
Without a doubt.
Unanimous isn't out of the question. Next game that I think has huge playoff implications, particularly in the AFC, Indy versus Denver. I know a lot of people aren't looking at this game or talking about this game, but Denver's only favored by 4 points. They are at Mile High.
Yeah.
And Indy's 6-7. They've been a scrappy team all year long, trying to claw their way into the playoffs. Denver is 8-5. So Denver wins this game. I think it's a lock that they're going to be they're going to round out that wild card spot. Indy is going to be looking towards next season if they end up losing this game.
Yeah, and this is one of those. This is like you said, it feels like we're playing for the front runner right now.
Yeah,
it's if Indy wins, they kind of have, especially with their schedule left. I think they have like the Jags, Texans, and Titans to round out the season, so they have a very easy schedule going forward that they should honestly be able to probably win out after this week. So if you're the Broncos, this is almost a must win, because if you're the Broncos, you also immediately have the Bengals, you still have the Chiefs, and I think they have another tough team like the Chargers. So it's like, if you're the Broncos, you have to win this, because you can't be relying on, we need the Colts to lose to the Jaguars and we have to beat the Chiefs to get into the playoffs, because that's a very tough task. So if you're the Broncos, this is a very high pressure. This feels almost like a playoff game, because you need to get that little.
The rest of the season is going to feel like a playoff game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think but I will say this: Denver looks really good.
I'll tell you this:
very good.
There's somewhere, Denver somewhere you wouldn't want to go and travel to if you're a top dog and you're like, you have to play that. Not even having to go there, like having to play them in their defense.
Denver also has that really impressive rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
rookie of the year.
I was about to say something about that. I owe Bo Nix an apology. So it's
who I don't know an apology to.
Oh my gosh,
Caleb Williams. I owe Bo Nix such an apology. I do, because watched him at Auburn and seeing him there, I was just like, this. I don't know if this guy. There wasn't even a thought that Bo Nix would be an NFL quarterback at that point in time.
I agree with you.
Then he goes to Oregon. He's there forever. He succeeds, and he's in the Heisman conversation. And I was like, all right, maybe this guy could be decent, but I don't see him being like a top of the line NFL quarterback. And I'm not saying it's because of Sean Payton, but him getting paired up with Sean Payton, a guy that tapped into Drew Brees' full potential. Drew Brees himself is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever pick up a football, but to then pair himself with Bo Nix and those two be quarterback, head coach, I think they're bringing out the best in each other. Bo Nix has had a phenomenal season. Don't count him out for offensive rookie of the year. I know Jaden Daniels is still the odds-on favorite in a lot of books, but look out now, man. Bo Nix is playing some great football, and he has. And again, I owe him an apology. I know he'll never see this, because I'm like a speck on the wall, like no one gives a shit. But still, it's I can admit I was absolutely wrong about that. I thought Bo Nix was going to be the worst rookie quarterback out of the group that got drafted, and he's done everything to prove me wrong. So, props to him for balling out Mile High.
I cannot wait till we somehow one day have Bo Nix on this show and we get to play that back.
Oh God, yeah. Well, you are watching the Ryan Ripken show. I am not Ryan Ripken. Ryan Ripken is in Maine.
You don't say.
He is out with family, so it's just you just got me, and God damn it, you got Rocco too. Look,
voice.
Moving on, we do have some big bets to place.
Yeah.
So look, let's start off with the Ravens. Obviously, Ravens are heavily favored. You mentioned by 16.5 points. What are some pretty good betting lines, as brought to you by Hollywood Casino and Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Shout out to Hollywood Casino in Charlestown. They are also an ESPN bet vendor, I guess is what you want to call it. I don't know. They're partnered with ESPN bet. And so that being said, Zach, what are some good bets that we can make this week on this Ravens game?
All right. This is one I'm in love with. Justice Hill over 16.5 rushing yards.
I feel like easy.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to get his one or two during the first half, where he always just to throw the defense off. They throw him in. They're like, okay, they're passing. He gets like those 7-8 yards in the first half. Then I'm banking on Ravens get up big. Fourth quarter, we're resting guys, and Justice Hill gets 2 or 3 drives where he is the main back and just got to find 17 yards there. So I'm loving Justice Hill over 16.5 yards. They're going to be running it. Justice Hill, Derrick Henry, Keaton if he's active, Ali if he's active. I think it's a big running game. Give me Justice Hill. All we need is 17 yards.
You know,
I like that a lot.
What about the 3 touchdowns? Is this going to be a Justice Hill 3 touchdown game, Zach?
It's good. We're going to run it back.
Those
There's
guys
going to
are
be a
fast.
time where it's going to speak to me again, and
Just going to whisper in your ear.
yeah, it's like
Do
it did, and
Do
it almost happened. He scored 0 touchdowns that
Oh
game,
my God! No,
but the
that's
Ravens were in the red zone a few times. So
great. There you go. I like. I know this is going to be most likely a run heavy game for the Ravens, as it should be. You should just pound the rock and just beat the hell out of the Giants at the line of scrimmage. Just make them feel like Derrick Henry, this rushing attack. And they're 4th to last in the NFL for a reason. Their defensive line is not great when it comes to the rushing attack. So attack their weaknesses, do it with one of the best running backs in the league, a physical specimen, and good things will happen. But I really like Mark Andrews to find the end zone in this game. I feel like Mark Andrews could have a big game. Another guy I'd like to see, because it goes back to the first game I covered when I was at Fox 45. It was at MetLife. It was the opening game. The Ravens took on the Jets.
Rashad
MetLife,
Bateman.
and Rashad Bateman. Him and Devin Duvernay both had touchdowns in that game. Duvernay obviously not with the Ravens anymore, but I like Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews to find the end zone if the Ravens are going to go to the air a little bit in this game as well.
that's something real fast that I've actually been kind of thinking about, because I almost, if it wasn't for Justice Hill, I was going to take Zay Flowers over 52.5.
I'd like him to have a big game
because
too.
One, let's just call it what it is. We've seen the drama in the wide receiver room. Obviously, you also saw Zay getting frustrated in the Eagles game. So I could very much see that this is a game where when the Ravens are passing, you brought up Mark Andrews, I could really see them targeting Zay and be like, hey, no, you got frustrated last week. You were open. We're going to reward you. Go out there, do your thing, and we're gonna get you the ball. And that's why I think, we talked about this is an incredible chance for them to run, play action, hit Zay deep. Let's get some big plays going.
I just want to look through. Sorry, my voice is like,
God damn.
Wow.
taking a turn for the worst right now.
How did that?
I guess I need
all
some
those
more
nerds
gummy clusters. Just looking at the props for this game on ESPN Bet. Mark Andrews to score a touchdown. 1 touchdown is plus 150 odds. Rashad Bateman plus 210. Zay Flowers plus 125. And then Derrick Henry, the odds for that really aren't even worth taking. He's plus 325 to score at least 1 touchdown. And that's
minus 325.
Yeah. Sorry, did I say plus?
Mm-hmm.
If it was plus, it would definitely be.
I was like, I'm right. What sports book do you want?
But who do you guys like to score that first touchdown for the Ravens? Henry, he's plus 225, so he's got the best odds on the field. It's looking like right there.
The first touchdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Derrick Henry.
Got to be Derrick Henry.
Give me Lamar. Little read
Lamar
option.
plus 850 right there.
Lamar Jackson read option. Whole world goes at Derrick Henry. I mean, it should be Derrick Henry, but
let's see who's got some.
What's
crazy
Tommy
odds.
DeVito?
Keaton Mitchell.
What's Tommy DeVito quarterback sneak looking like?
Keaton Mitchell is plus 2,500 to score the first touchdown. Just imagine if they're like, yeah, Keaton, take a rush like 40 yards to the house.
Well, no, it would be that actually is not bad because technically, if because he returns kicks, that would be how
that
you
would count too.
Yeah.
What's
I would be so pressed if
Pat
that
Ricard anytime touchdown?
Let me see.
Yeah,
anytime touchdown.
Probably I think it's usually like plus 850. Maybe it's in the 1,000 at this point.
I don't see Brad if Ricard's on here. I don't think I see him on the ESPN.
I couldn't find him on ESPN Bet either. I thought I was the one that I was the blind one.
I'm gonna check a few others, see if we can.
Because I want to take Pat Ricard touchdown, and here's why. If it ends up being one of those games where they can just do whatever they want,
switch the camera, Zach.
That's usually when Pat Ricard comes to town.
I have plus 2,500.
Oh, give me Pat Ricard touchdown.
2,500
anytime touchdown.
Anytime,
dude. Imagine
25.
him on like a flat, just like throwing out.
Oh,
Lamar hits him in the end zone.
That's all he needs.
That's all he is.
That's all he needs.
Yeah, that's all you need.
I think when it's give me give me the big fella.
I might
Dude,
have
you know what fired
Pat Ricard anytime
You know what
touchdown.
fired me the hell up, Brad, this week?
plus 10,000 first.
They were showing it's like one of the last fullbacks, like real fullbacks of his generation. Remember John Kuhn with the
Oh,
with
yeah.
Packers?
Oh, my
So they were
God,
showing his
yeah.
highlights, and it fired me up. Him just like going through the air, jumping over people,
Yeah.
truck sticking people. I'd love to see that from Pat Ricard today. Just
Kuhn
That
loves
would be-
Baltimore, by the way.
does he?
Yeah, he loves Baltimore.
Nice.
I
Give him a little fullback draw.
I'm
Shippensburg University product.
Fullback draw would be sick. I just
Shout out to the
love
Pennsylvania
seeing that
schools.
big giant man
yeah.
score a touchdown.
And especially these are the games, like you said, Brad. If they get 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns,
Yeah, and they want to get cute with shit.
they love to reward Pat
Yeah.
in those situations. If they get to like the 2-yard line,
Yeah.
they love being like, "Hey, dude, you helped us get down here so many times. We rushed for 200 yards. Here's your tutty." Plus 2,500 is.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna sprinkle.
Listen,
You know,
the Eagles have their tush push, and the Ravens raise them a Pat Ricard rushing or receiving
I
touchdown right
persuaded
there.
Zach.
Oh, yeah.
Persuaded Zach.
I mean, speaking of, we're talking about guys that could have big games. News out of Baltimore with a certain running back this week. Changing up his look. Changing up
yeah.
his look. Derrick Henry cut his dreads. The famous singular dread coming out of the back of the helmet is gone.
I hated it.
Here we go.
I hated that.
It's like I
It looked
loved
like
it.
a
It was
giant
just his
turd coming
thing.
out of his head. I'm loving this though.
Yeah.
Dreads look sick.
So Derrick Henry no longer rocking the dreads.
Is this like going to be like a Samson kind of like thing, from the Bible?
Well, where he
cuts
loses
hair
his
and he
power.
loses- Yeah.
So here's what I think maybe I think this is one of
What?
those
That's
moments
like
where
a
maybe
thing.
he gets faster. Is that what?
Players, well, I'll say this: players, coaches, in general. If you think of people that cut their hair, usually good things happen afterwards. Like when Nick Sirianni went through his coming to light and just decided he was going to buzz it all off.
Oh yeah.
The Eagles went on a tear. Maybe this is what the Ravens need. Maybe Derrick Henry's like, you know what? Let's take one for the team here, change it up, and just like the rest of the NFL needs to watch out. So,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, or it could go the other way. I mean, Rip will tell you. It'll be the first one to tell you that, like, if you're a little stitious, this would make me a little anxious.
Yeah, but I already tweeted this out, and Joe, thanks for bringing it up. I'm obviously if he's having good games, I got to bring up the Saints cutting his hair thing. We'll see if we
Yeah.
strike gold with that one again.
love how British Raven. This is, he's betting euros. He's got it. So it's like, I love it. I love it. I didn't even think. Props to you, British Raven.
Yeah.
I hope you win 115
I
euros.
love this.
Yeah.
Hey, do we open this up for calls?
Yeah,
We got some time.
I think we do.
Before we do, I just want to round this out and thank you again to Hollywood Casino and Charlestown races out there in
West Virginia.
Shout out to you guys. Thanks for supporting the show. We love you. We are awesome. We are awesome. You are awesome. And we're awesome. Fuck it.
They are. Shout out to when we're talking about Hollywood Casino, Charlestown races in West Virginia. Shout out to them for real. Best corporate citizen in 2024.
There you go.
Ooh.
Big wins for them. Best casino. That's a lock. Like they're always going to win best casino in West Virginia just because of how good they are. But
Is
shout
there a
out to
lot
them
of
for their
casinos in
accolades
West
as well?
Virginia?
Huh?
Are there a lot of casinos in West Virginia?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm
There's
just
only one I
keeping it-
care about. It's that one.
I'm
So,
just keeping the camera on Rocco as he just
Number one in
down
West
seasoners
Virginia
clusters.
and number one in our hearts.
yeah.
Shout out to Hollywood Casino. All right, so I will get the calls going if you guys want to kill some time.
Yeah, Rocco, did you want to continue eating your nerds, or did you want to talk about something?
I don't know. Need my voice back.
That bag was like 3/4 full when Rocco.
Yeah,
grabbed
I'm
it.
sorry. I probably owe.
I mean, I murdered a good amount of that too.
Rocco's been sitting there just every few. Are you reading the macros?
They're so
All right.
addictive, bro.
Underrated travel candy.
Yes,
These.
Yeah,
it's just a nerd rope. They just cut it into pieces.
literally,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Dude, that's like Nerds Ropes take me back to like my Little League Baseball days when you'd go to the concession stand afterwards. It was like you always get a Nerds Rope, cowtails,
Oh yeah.
cheese fries, or a slushy, which is like called shaved ice here, I think, for some reason.
No, it's not
No,
called
it's called
shaved-
snowballs.
Snowballs.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Shaved
Call them
ice.
snow cones.
Who the hell says shaved ice?
People call them shaved ice.
That's
I don't
weird.
personally. That's why I thought it was a little weird.
Rocco, that was weird.
You know,
You shouldn't have said
you're
that.
weird.
You shouldn't have said that. All right, Rocco, let's talk a little bit of football.
All right. let's get back to football.
Hey, their Chiefs are playing the Browns.
How do you think they're going to win that game? I'm thinking Jameis Winston interception in the end zone as time expires.
I want to see. I want to see what I like in this game. This could be a game where Jameis is just like, screw this, and throws for like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. He just says, you know what? I have nothing to lose. He did ask the good Lord to deliver him from throwing pick sixes. So
yeah, so maybe no pick sixes.
Yeah. So I don't think we'll see a pick six, but maybe we just see like one of those Jameis games, one of those vintage Jameis Winston, just like
350, 3 picks,
football.
3 tutties.
Yeah.
Rip had a message for you.
Oh yeah. I don't care what he has to say. Yeah.
Rocco eating nerds.
Yeah. Hope you got some good lobster, buddy.
Just a nerd eating nerds.
Yeah.
Just a nerd eating nerds. I'm
But
the only nerd on
It's
the screen.
watch it. It would be hilarious if the Browns just went out and said, you know what? We're gonna win this game. We have 3 wins. We still believe,
Well,
even though
that's just it,
nobody
like-
else does. We can't make the
Hey,
playoffs. Like we're screwed.
Myles
but
Garrett still balls out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just mess the rest of the AFC up today.
If the Chiefs
Do
were
it.
to lose a game, as weird as their season has been, it would make sense that they would lose.
That's what I'm saying. This game,
Yeah.
it's just like, and on top of that, while they lost against the Broncos, Jameis is starting to get on the same page with a lot of his guys.
Jerry Jeudy.
Exactly. Jerry
Yeah.
Jeudy and his return to Mile High.
Baller.
Really cool to see. Roll Tide. But yeah, man. I just feel like, would it surprise you if obviously you look at the spread and the records and you're like, yes, the Chiefs should dominate and win this game, but it's surprising the Browns
because
just came out and won.
they haven't dominated a
I don't think it
single
would
game.
surprise any Ravens fans. It's like,
Chiefs haven't dominated a single game this year, so no,
Yeah.
it wouldn't shock me if they couldn't dominate.
No,
this.
not at all. We do have some people waiting in line for our calls. Let's bring in our first one, and it's Joe. Of course.
Of course, it's Joe.
What's up, Joe?
How we doing?
Yeah, we're
Great, man. Football. We're back.
The nerd eating the nerds. I love it.
Listen, those nerds are so good.
they're so good. What's going on, Joe?
Not much, man. Just a chilly Sunday here today.
Pretty chilly here.
But
Yeah, what's chilly in Arkansas?
it's probably like
food that they eat.
probably like 45 outside right now.
Oh my gosh, that is
That's not. Well, that's chilly. I wouldn't
okay.
say
I guess that's chilly. That's not,
It's not
cold.
cold.
What is it?
45.
Grow up, Joe.
Rocco's saying that with a mouth.
As he hides his nerds, like a little dweeb.
Oh, it's only
Sometimes,
35 here. I was thinking it was way colder here. Joe, what are we thinking for today's game?
Ravens by 1 million.
There we go.
Bring it back, baby. Ravens by 1 million.
Where's Parker when you need him?
Yeah, right. Blast from the past. Joe, Ravens by 1 million, obviously, but how do you think this game goes down?
I think it'll be a good game, and the Ravens have 2 pick sixes.
Oh,
Oh, defense wakes up this week.
ooh. Any ideas?
One of which will be Kyle Hamilton with the power of the hoodie.
That's just not happening. I would be so. This would be the worst week for Kyle to have.
Then you'll have to do Kyle Hamilton has X
He's-
interceptions since wearing Calvert.
I would have to.
I
I would have to put it on full
It
suspension
would,
for
it
the
would
year.
be like justice served if Kyle Hamilton had a pick six and Zach be like, I have to put on his jersey now. Like I have to.
Yeah.
Or if he hits the Calvert Hall celebration. I don't know if that exists. but
What? How?
I don't know, just like a Cardinal. Just like something like that.
That's ridiculous. All right, Joe. Well, thanks for calling in, bud. As always, we appreciate you.
Wait, quick fact, Joe. What we
Oh
got?
yeah. Oh, quick fact. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
2025, Arkansas will have an arena football team in Hot Springs called the Hot Springs Wise Guys.
Ah.
The
Hot
wise
Springs
guys.
Wise guys. I love that.
That's
Sounds
incredible.
like a minor league baseball team.
That's
honestly.
a very minor league baseball.
I do
team
like
name.
I do like when teams get creative with
Yeah.
their,
Yeah.
instead of saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna be the Wildcats like 17 other teams in
Oh,
the
like the
state.
Shrimps?
Like, yeah. Get creative, have fun. The wise
It's
guy.
based
I love
on
that.
history of the city of Hot Springs with the mafia.
Oh,
Oh,
there
that's
you
so
go.
much cooler
There's the
too.
Mafia was in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
was going on?
There
What-
is a gangster museum down there as well with all the history that
Heard their starting quarterback knows a guy.
Is
That was
and Al Capone stayed at the hotel every summer down there, the Arlington Hotel, which is now a historic hotel because of it.
Mafia.
Yeah, they were heavily involved with horse racing in Hot Springs.
That's
You
crazy.
see, these are the facts we need to know. So now
Yeah,
we know you
you're
can
way better at
mine.
this than
Yeah,
Kevin.
we know you can mine for what diamonds there, and and there's the mafia. No wonder.
I put a picture. I
out
put a picture of the logo in the Discord
I found it.
under the visual facts. I started a thread there so that you could pull it up easily.
Thank you, Joe.
Very nice, Joe.
You're the man, Joe.
I'll get the hell out of here. I want to enjoy the rest of my
We
Sunday.
do have other calls to get to, Joe, but thanks so much for tuning in, my man.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for
Good
calling
seeing
in.
you
We-
as always.
Peace out, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. See you, brother.
That's like the wise guys. I see Matt showing the Rocket City Trash Pandas there some love. Those are the names I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love the
Jacksonville
trash
Jumbo Shrimp. Rip probably
Yeah,
played
the
for a few
Jumbo
of those
Shrimp.
teams.
Jumbo Shrimp's always a favorite. We did have one person dropped off, but we'll bring in
There's a team called
the always famous
can. Here we go, baby.
British Raven. What up,
British Raven.
Nick? What's up, my man? Oh, you're reporting as eligible. Okay.
Yep, I'm in. I mean, it definitely wasn't because I was like speed eating toast before I put my helmet on, but yeah.
Listen, you just played the Pat Ricard
eligible.
role. You just played the Pat Ricard role. That's fine.
Rich, I love you, dude.
See,
How
I'm eating
you feeling?
toast. Rocco's a nerd, but yeah, we get it. Sorry, Roadrunner.
He said Roadrunner. Oh man, how we feeling today, British Raven?
You know what? I'm all fired up for this game. I feel like we're going to win, but it's like they've got so many stories on their team. Like at one point this week, they had 19 players on the injury report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a who's who on who's playing. So all of them are going to be vying for a spot either this season or next. So they're going to be playing well. I've retired from predicting the blowout, so I'm going to say it's going to be a close game.
Just put this.
B word.
I'll say it's going to be a blowout.
I think I'm saying the B word too.
No, I'm not.
I like
I've learned my lesson.
Yes, very true. Very
I've
true.
learned my lesson.
It's
I've learned my lesson.
like how the turntables have turned.
Yeah.
It's with the CVS receipt on the Giants injury report.
Yeah.
And now the Ravens is like this.
Yeah.
Did you guys see, Nick? I think you might have seen this too. The reports coming out. I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago that the Giants had 17 passes in their game in the wind, in the practice in the wind, and they went 0 for 17.
I saw that.
And it was like 8 of them were on air, so there was no defender, and it was just overthrows and stuff. So that's what a
Sounds like the Army quarterback yesterday.
I will say the one chink in the blowout armor could be that our Darius Washington.
what happens there?
He's actually in the building. I saw a tweet from the Ravens. He's there.
Okay.
He's there.
He's there.
Well, if he's
Thank you
not
for
if
breaking
he's
news,
not
Nick.
playing, then Marcus Williams will be playing in place of him.
Yeah.
So that
A
chink in. in
usually against other teams, I'd be like, yeah, that could be a weakness. If our Darius Washington's the reason you can't beat the Giants, we got bigger
I'm
issues.
just
here.
saying we've seen a lot of blown coverage from Marcus Williams this season.
I'm just saying, if these guys can't complete a pass in the environment of New York, I'm pretty sure we could have nobody out there on defense and we'd still win.
I like it. I like it.
Nick, I liked it too.
Nick, any predictions for players? Do you think anyone's having a big game?
I like the Pat Ricard angle, and that's not just because it will win me pounds, not euros.
Yeah, I was
Hell
wondering
yeah.
what Rocco. Oh wait, Rocco, can you
It was
hear?
me.
It was pounds, not euros.
Was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's pounds.
Yeah, we actually have real money.
I'm an uncultured swine. I think we've all,
No, I got it wrong too.
very uneducated.
I think I got.
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure I got that wrong.
I'm not gonna lie. When he said euros in my head, I was like, I know that's another form of currency. I was like, I don't know if that's what they use over
Dude,
there,
I
but I'm
don't
just
know
gonna go
shit.
with it.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's the European Union money.
That
We
was
are not European Union.
the deal, right?
We left.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brexit was a long time. It was like 10 years ago now. I think Brexit was.
I think you might be over embellishing that number, but it definitely was quite some time ago.
What was it, 2015, 2016?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
know
don't
they,
remember the exact date, but yeah. It was
Yeah,
horrible.
Rocky, why didn't you know that?
Huh?
Rocky, you got to be
I
on
don't know.
top
I'm
of
the
that.
finance guy.
He's eating nerds, but yet he doesn't know these very specific points in history.
Nick, I have a
What is
journalism degree. My degree wasn't in finance. My degree is probably the most useless degree out of anyone's here. But
that? A history degree might have been more useful for you, Rocco.
I'm just kidding. Journalism majors.
You had a job in journalism and you fucked it.
That's here.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Jesus.
I love it, Nick.
Christ,
Nick, you always get me fired up going into these games. I feel so much better after you come on.
Yeah, you fired me up for a Steelers victory, so I appreciate it.
Get out of here.
Maybe next time you won't use that fired up to get a ticket, but we will.
God damn.
Nick's on
Nick's
Hot right
coming
now.
in
I love it.
hot.
I love it.
From the top rope. Nick, thanks so much for
I appreciate you guys.
We always appreciate you, brother. It's always entertaining when you call in. So thanks, man.
Love you guys. Take it easy. Let's win.
You
Yeah,
too.
Peace
Go
out,
Ravens.
bro.
Talking to you, boss.
Nick
Oh,
always
what a
gets me
legend.
fired up. That
Oh.
the energy that's brought
He's
every
awesome.
single pregame just gets me ready to go.
So I always look forward to Nick calling in.
I want to see him we got to set up like a tackling dummy next week. Like we have to send him one that he can just
Yeah.
It's
It won't get there for 2 weeks.
that's all right. Yeah.
But all right, we got one more caller. I think if you guys still want to call in, you're more than welcome to. But we got one more caller here, and it's none other than the beautiful Laura.
Laura, how are you?
It is beautiful as my hair is standing all over my head. Love you, Brad. Love you, that.
Sophisticated and everything.
Thank you. Thank you. I try. Oh my God. Anyways, considering I've been up for hours because my neighbor across the hall is out of town and I have to walk her dog, whatever. I'm sad.
About?
Army lost.
Well,
That's money out of Mama's hands.
Oh,
At least you didn't bet the under like Zach.
I have no regrets. I told people yesterday because everyone's like, "Oh, it's the over this year," and I said, "Listen, I would rather go down with Old Reliable than be the guy who wins on the over."
Well, you could have just Venmoed me $25 and I would have done something good with it.
No, it
No.
what had to be done. Is you every year, it is your patriotic right to bet the under in Army Navy. It's just simple as that. Everyone should do it.
Is there a better sportsmanship kind of game than the Army Navy game?
I love the prisoner exchange.
Yeah.
Laura, you saw and they do.
Yeah.
And what's
So
the
good.
story? Correct me if I'm wrong. They have 7 service members from the Naval Academy
Yep.
and from West Point as well.
Yep.
And they spend the semester kind of
Yeah.
not undercover, but at the opposing
Yes.
academy. So
Yes.
7 members will go to Navy, 7 members will go to Army, and then they meet at the 50 and they do this exchange where they say, all right, you get yours back, we get ours back. And then
Yeah.
what's so cool about it is the messages they put on their backs. You saw the pictures,
Yeah.
but when they sprint full speed to the other side, they're like, let's go.
Yeah.
I love everything about that game. The tradition is just incredible.
It's so good, man.
Absolutely.
It doesn't
Absolutely.
matter who you're rooting for. It's so good. I mean, look, nobody cares how good the football is. It's just the
Army
the,
Navy.
the game, right? It's the game.
It was good, but it was pretty good football. I mean, and considering that Army, was 22 ranked in the country and everything else, and a lot of people felt that Army should have been in the playoff, because they were undefeated before yesterday, right?
I think that dream went to bed. But in the beginning of the season, Laura, there was that possibility of Army getting in there, and people were talking about it. They're like, "Can you imagine if Army's playing in the college football playoff at the end of the year? It would have been special.
Oh
It would've been
my
awesome.
God!
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unreal.
So, other than that, I think I'm going to be positive. 28-3.
Wow.
28-3.
Woo.
Come on, Tommy DeVito. Come on. I mean, he can't do anything. But I'm also just kind of like, it could be closer than that, but I'm really hoping it's not. I'm really going with Zach's angle that you need to get out early, establish that dominance, get that run up lead, like you said, so you can save your starters in the fourth quarter for bigger and better things. I think Kevin had a poll out on Locked On Ravens about, do the Ravens need to win all 4 of these next games? I know we're talking about today, but do they need to win all 4? Do they just need to win against the Steelers? Like, I mean, what do you guys think as far as the rest of the season goes?
I think for their own, I guess, for psychological reasons, I think that winning out would be huge for them. But I think if it's 3 out of 4, I would be happy with that.
Yeah.
But there is a very high possibility that the Ravens sweep or win out, I should say. It's really hard to sweep a divisional opponent. The Steelers have already won, and now they got to come to Baltimore. I don't see. I would imagine that they take care of business in Houston, and then obviously have the Browns at home too. So I would be shocked. I would be surprised if they didn't win at least 3 out of 4, if not just run the table the rest of the way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think if they win 3 or 4, you're feeling good. The only way I wouldn't feel great is if that one loss is, like you said, to the Steelers, because then it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. But I think the Ravens are in a very good spot if they take care of business today, because if they backpedal out of this game, I'm not feeling as good. But if you can get hot early and just get out in front and run with it, I like the Ravens the final 4 games.
Okay. Is Harbaugh on the hot seat if they don't win?
No.
Not for in season.
Okay.
I still think I'm still sticking with if they somehow lose first round of the playoffs, something like that.
Nope.
I could see
Harbaugh's
the
got
seat
that
heating up.
job until he doesn't want it anymore. That's how I feel about it.
I was on that too. I think it's starting to if they can't get deep into the playoffs, I think the question
if they can't win with this team at least one game in the playoffs, I absolutely think there could be a coaching change on the horizon. And
they said that about Tomlin how many times, and then he never went anywhere.
Yeah, but I think
Brad, Tomlin never had Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry in the backfield. Like it's
yeah.
To not get to a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson would be a disservice to all of football. So just want to put that out there.
Steelers have playoffs since when?
Steelers don't have a 2-time MVP and a potential 3-time MVP on the roster.
I'm just saying.
Oh, Rocco getting defensive.
Yep, here we go.
Wow.
I'm giving
Take
Lamar Jackson
my point being, though, was that there were even Steelers fans out there calling for Tomlin's head for years.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My thing is that, like, the Ravens have at least gone to the dance. I just don't know. Who do you replace John Harbaugh with?
I agree.
I
I'm just saying you can't, and we're playing the hypothetical game right now. I hate even having this conversation, but if you go backwards with this team and a roster you thought you got better with, I know the defense has had its struggles, but when you look at what they have in the backfield, no excuse. There is no excuse not to get to the AFC Championship game this season with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson on your roster.
I think if they lose first round, wild card, one and done, that's when I think the questions would be flying around. I think the speculation, if they take care of business, there's no. I know some people are like, if they don't win the Super Bowl, they make it to the AFC Championship. If they make, then there's no question.
If they get to the AFC Championship game again and they play their brand of football and don't get away, I think that was a big thing last year was they got away from their identity in the biggest game of the year. And they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. We all know it.
My thing is, if you fire John Harbaugh, who are you replacing? I mean, who's going to
Bill Belichick? That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, not Bill.
Who are you going to Vrabel? Vrabel hasn't won that many playoff games.
Yeah, I think the new hot thing is to grab the young. I mean, I've seen so many people talk about Ben Johnson, stuff like that. If you want to take, your shot with that, that's one thing. But you're right. I would, unless you're getting the top guy, you're getting the Ben Johnson from Detroit. I'm not really seeing the upgrade.
If there is a vacancy with one of these big teams, they will find a way to bring in a solid head coach.
If they fire John Harbaugh gets rehired in days.
Oh, there's no doubt. I don't disagree at all. But again, I don't think it's going to happen.
No,
that's
what I'm saying.
We're playing the if game.
Yep. Yeah. All
right. That was it.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Are you going to say the B word with Zach and I this week?
Yeah, she said 23.
But you didn't.
I said bitch in the chat. That's the B word. Yes, I'm willing to go blow out for 20. Absolutely. I'll say it.
I love it.
There we go.
And tell Ryan he can suck it because he's all like, don't say the B word. Suck it, Ryan. Enjoy Maine, Mr. Hoity-toity.
God, Ryan catching strays is not even here.
I love it.
Laura, thanks so much for
Ryan always is going to catch strays for me. Brad, I love you. Rocco, I'm gonna show you some love because I feel bad that everybody hates you. Zach, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with Zach and how it is possible he is younger than Kevin, but
Yeah.
looks older than Kevin. Yeah,
No one
exactly.
believes me. Kevin also just looks 7, so it doesn't help.
Yeah, he stopped growing at 7 too.
Correct. He looks 15. So how are you 14? Really? Okay.
Very true.
Thanks for calling in, Laura.
Thanks,
As
Laura.
Always a pleasure, guys.
All right, we got a couple more calls in. Next one is going to be Rich. What's going on, Rich?
Oh,
Rich is muted. Rich, you there?
Yeah, Richard said you're muted.
All right, we're going to have to come back to Rich. Let's go over to Kieran.
Zach.
What's up, my man?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, that was terrible.
On dad duty.
Oh, yeah.
How we doing?
It's a mixed day.
I was
Well,
gonna say, how's the household?
well,
For context here, Kieran's wife is a Giants fan.
yeah. So we're just
Not a household I want to be in today.
we're not really talking about the fact of the two of us are facing each other. We're more like, oh, it's Sunday and there's a game on. But in all honesty, though, I know Jess is a Giants fan. She's going to be rooting for her team. She can't stand DeVito. She's like, you guys can sack him as much as you want to. And but at the end of the day, we both know what the outcome of this game is more than likely going to be. You never want to talk in absolutes, but I got a good feeling about this game. I will say the only things that I'm a little bit worried about. There you go. That was solid.
There we go.
Wow.
What
Okay.
was worry about, Kieran?
Right. Yeah. So the only things that possibly concern me a little is their pass rushers. Thibodeau and Burns are no joke. And
Oh, yeah.
I think Stanley can hold his own. I hope that Roger can hold his own too. There you go. You guys are on it. Them and I want to believe they can stop Neighbors, but history has shown that they have problems with bona fide number 1 receivers. So I think that they're going to win. I'm predicting 31-13. I think the Giants can get something there, but they can't get complacent. They really can't get complacent.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the big thing for me is Malik Neighbors, because especially like you said, the Ravens have had their struggles against these bona fide top guys. And I do, even though he's a rookie, I do think Neighbors is in that conversation. I like 31-13. I actually really like that score because I do think it is going to be Neighbors gets behind the secondary one time, something happens. It just feels like one of those games where the Ravens are going to be in control, but the Giants are going to get something.
Yeah.
I also really agree with your point. Roger Rosengarten and Ronnie Stanley, Rosengarten, I think this is going to be a very great game for him because this is hopefully, like we've talked about, is a game where it's kind of got some distance to it. So there's not a ton of pressure, but you're going against Burns, you're going against Thibodeau, who are two very good pass rushers. So getting reps against these good pass rushers, experienced pass rushers as a rookie and hopefully a not high pressure game. I think this is a great opportunity for a guy like him, like you said, against these good pass rushers. So hopefully this can be a good time for them as well to kind of take those steps and learn.
I want to bring up something that the Giants beat reporter for The Athletic said, because I do like your 38-13 was a prediction?
31-13.
31-13.
Sorry, I was off by, but it could be 38-13.
It could be.
Prediction of it should be. It should be. It absolutely should be. And if Ravens fans think otherwise, I get why people will be skeptical because, again, the Ravens at times have let bad teams hang around in some of these games, but this is a game they should absolutely dominate. They're fresh. They're healthy. They're coming off the bye. They got a grueling stretch coming up. Dan Duggan, who's the athletic reporter for the Giants, said the Giants' 24-20 win over the Ravens in Week 6 of the 2022 regular season was the best regular season victory of the Schoen Dable era. It also signaled the high point for this regime aside from the playoff win. Oh, you finally brought it up. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that.
When other would I have brought it up besides when you started
the
talking
Giants?
about
Well, I
it?
didn't think you were going to bring it up at all. The Giants were 5-1 after beating the Ravens. They improved to 6-1 the next week. Since that 6-1 start, they've gone 11, 28, and 1. Said that's all I got. Now I shift to plain watch. Prediction: Ravens 38, Giants 13. That's where I, came up with the 38. I expected the Giants to get blown out by the Saints last week. I underestimated how bad the Saints are. The Ravens are very good. I'm not expecting the undermanned Giants. I guess scroll down because I can't see the rest of the tweet.
Oh my!
I'm going to be right here to keep pace again.
You couldn't get you started reading and couldn't finish the final 3 words.
Oh
I couldn't see the final 3 words exactly. So, Kieran, I'll say, what do you think about that? Like, because to your point, you're predicting a blowout, then you see that, like a guy that covers the team. It's got to make you feel kind of confident as a Ravens fan to see that from the other side.
Yeah, I could see that score 38. I guess for me, history shows that we play down.
Yeah.
I think even with us playing down, I still think that we're going to be successful, and I think we're going to win. I just until it's proven otherwise, I got to see us on all cylinders clicking, and especially on the road. And I think, Zach, you mentioned it before, we haven't won in MetLife against the Giants under Harbaugh. That's a long time.
Yeah, and I think kind of to what you said, Karen, I could see this even ending as a 31-13 game, but still being a game that the Ravens kind of struggle with at the beginning. I could see this being a game where, because they're coming off the bye, that little bye rust where, yeah, even though they win 31-13 and you look at the score and you're like, okay, the Ravens ran away with it. I could see this being at half, it's 17-10, and you're sitting on what's going on with the Ravens. And they all of a sudden only give up a field goal in the second half. They scored 2 touchdowns in the third, fourth quarter. And when you look at it that way, you're like, oh, okay, the Ravens ran away with it. But I could see that rust being, especially early on, an issue.
You know what the performance of the day is going to be, though? Nothing is going to match Kieran. Baby in one hand.
Yep.
Phone in
the other.
Hell yeah.
Baby has been peaceful. Hasn't cried. Hasn't.
Yep.
Like that's impressive, man. So
Great coaching. Great coaching.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Right there.
I will say I was in the queue before, and then she was taking a nap, and then she woke up with screaming bloody murder. So I had to jump out. I'm glad I was able to jump back in real quick. She's doing all right now.
On the fly.
Yep.
Just on the fly. I love it.
Yeah.
Dads have superpowers, man.
I try. I really try.
All right, Kieran.
I love it.
Props to you,
Appreciate you,
Thanks
Kieran.
so much
All right.
for calling in, bro. We always appreciate when you do, and go Ravens.
Go
All right.
Ravens.
Awesome. Gosh, that all the callers today just got me fired up.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready for some football. I miss Ravens football. I know. I said before, it was nice to kind of have that bye week, especially after that tough loss to Philly. You just felt like you needed a little break.
Perfect timing with the winter meetings. We don't talk baseball.
Literally perfect in all facets.
Should I get Buffalo Wild Wings today?
Perfect in all facets. It really just was one of those things where the bye week comes at the
15
time.
wings, fried pickles.
And
What you should
really,
do,
it's
you
just
should go to Iron Rooster and get yourself some rooster bites.
It's true. I could.
Mhm.
Could.
And
But to
'cause
keep
you're
going,
on-
Zach, I can tell you more about my order. Southwest Ranch,
crack
fried
me up.
pickles.
well, the
Fire.
fried pickles
Fried pickles
are
are
great.
dope.
Fried pickles are so
The fried
I miss the fried mushrooms. I used to have fried mushrooms. And those were-
Never had that. Probably never would. But they could be great.
I like
the-
mushrooms a lot.
I don't like the pickle spears.
No, yeah, it's got to be the chips.
Yeah, the pickle
Also-
chips are the best. Those are
we
that's
we
the
just got
go-to.
inactives. So inactives for the Baltimore Ravens are Sanusi Kane, Marcus Williams, Keaton Mitchell, Adisa Isaac, and Nick Samak.
So our Darius Washington's good to go.
Yeah, Darius
Oh,
is
there we
playing.
go.
Marcus Williams inactive.
Unfortunately,
Darius
Keaton.
Washington. That's
Yeah, Keaton is inactive.
Yeah,
so
what's with Keaton?
I think they're just letting him get his. Whoa, I will say this. We've brought this up. I am
Goddamn,
very much okay with Keaton coming off that injury to not have to play on MetLife's field.
man.
I'm kind of okay with
and
that.
maybe that factored into it because if you're in a blowout game,
Yeah.
you take Derrick Henry out. Who's going to get the amount of touches? It's going to be
So
like
why
it
we're
would have been a
feeding
Keaton
Rasheed
Mitchell if he's
Ali?
healthy. Yeah, so that's a great point, Zach, because we talk about how shitty that surface is at MetLife, and
Oh, yeah.
players hate
Yeah.
playing on the field there. And this isn't like a jinx, superstitious thing. Like you just hope and pray everyone can come out of this game healthy for the Ravens, especially with the stretch coming up, because yeah, you're off the bye, but you jump into this game on this turf and then you have the grueling stretch. I wish this was before the bye even happened, but
yeah,
hopefully we're not even having to talk or worry about that. And they're good to go as they move forward.
Hey, why do you always want Chick-fil-A when it's Sunday?
For real.
I know, man. It's like
we did not
I
need this
hate
shot,
it.
Joe. We did not need this
Marshall
shot.
needs some love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just insane.
30 in the portal, and they can't even play in their bowl game now.
You know, Rocco, we're not going to talk about that right
But
now.
you know,
We're talking
hey,
about
your
NFL
soccer team
football.
advanced to the national championship.
National
so that's
Marshall
great.
University in the national championship tomorrow versus Vermont. What
Again, at least your football program isn't in jeopardy like Temple's. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Whoa.
not even going to have a football program in 5 years, I hope.
Damn.
But
Yeah.
who knows?
Marshall National Championship tomorrow. It is funny that they're playing Vermont because, like, just talk about a random team that I did not know.
Hold on, Vermont and what?
Soccer.
Oh, soccer. I was like,
Yeah.
Vermont doesn't have a football team.
Because last
Do they?
time, you know what I did not realize, because obviously I only got into college soccer because Marshall became good like 5 years ago.
It's cool though. You support your school. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
but so like Indiana and UNC have like dynasties there.
They're filthy.
Like it literally goes like Indiana and UNC each have like 20 something titles.
Yep.
And then like the number 3 is like 4.
UNC is just good at everything.
Yeah.
They have been in the past.
Because
like
it was
baseball, soccer, lacrosse,
Yeah.
freaking basketball. Obviously, football is the only sport that they're like,
Yeah. Well, because
But no.
I only know that because when Marshall won the Natty in 21, they won because they beat UNC and then Indiana in the finals. And everyone, like, of course, we're just like, oh, that's so cool. And like the college soccer fanatics are like, this is one of the greatest runs of all time versus two powerhouses.
No
I'm just
way.
like, this is so much fun.
That's
You know, I
awesome.
didn't know.
All right, I got a trivia question for you, Zach. Who's Vermont's mascot?
I have no idea.
Oh, what?
What is the Catamounts?
I was gonna say someone sent me it. I was gonna say I wanted to say Mountaineers, but I was like, there would be no reason for that to be Mountaineers.
There's some really obscure ones that you're like, if you did like a trivia of all the mascots, I'm
Yeah.
confident that we as a group could
It's
get
right up
like,
there
at
with like
least-
the minor league teams.
yeah.
Yeah.
We could get
Just
like
have a weird
80%,
name.
I feel like mascot wise, but there's a lot. Like you got
What-
like,
what is a catamount, by the way?
I think it's like some kind of cat
Okay.
amount. An amount of cats. It's
Oh
an
my
amount of
God.
cats. Yep. It's a cat amount. Yeah. You
I'm
want to Google that?
yes, I'm googling it.
Is that
The-
Brooks in the background?
Wait, cat.
Brooks. Oh, hey, there he is. Well, maybe that's where he is. Can't hear him.
Up. I think we got Dustin Brooks on. Up. Can we?
Yeah.
There's Brooks. Up.
Well, okay. You figure it out, bro.
Yeah, we'll bring you back on in a sec. I'm trying to figure out what is.
Zach, if it's taking you too long to
This
Google this, it scares me.
so
for
No,
what-
because it's just so a catamount's an animal, but all this stuff is like, where are the Vermont catamounts now? When I looked up Vermont,
just Google catamount definition. Okay, I found it quicker than you. A medium-sized or large wild cat, especially holy shit. A medium-sized or large wild cat, especially a cougar. So it's basically a cougar.
yeah, but do you know why they left Vermont?
No, that's not what I'm.
Oh, they
this
won
is-
the
this is
vote
called
by a vote of
ADHD, buddy.
138 to
All right,
126.
Brooks says they're coming. Brooks, we're trying to wrap up, bro. Figure it out. You got 1 minute.
Get it on.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Definitely getting Buffalo Wild Wings.
what? Look, get Wingstop. If you're gonna go wings, there's
Never
way
gotten
better.
Wingstop in my life.
Well, you should because it's way better
Damn.
than Buffalo Wild
Buffalo
Wings.
Wild
The
Wings. is where
Catamounts
Buffalo
are
Wild Wings
dead.
go. They are expensive, but it's like
Yeah, they're
it's Buff-
expensive and they're not even all that great for what you pay for.
B-Dubs is my. that's my go-to.
There we go.
Vibes.
boys. What we doing?
Fellas.
Oh my god.
How we doing?
Justice Hill over 2.5 receptions, over 25 yards parlayed together is plus 226.
Oh,
There you go.
Cheers.
There you go. Yeah!
yeah. Let's go.
I wish we
Hell
had beer
yeah.
right now. I would definitely.
See you, boys. See you guys.
That was well worth the
That
call.
was-
That was
That
electric.
was
Hell
electric.
yeah.
I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
That's how you do it.
God damn it. That
That's
was
how
awesome.
we
I
do
am
it.
ready. They just
Hell yeah.
came in.
And then left.
That
create
might be.
havoc, leave.
We have had some great call-ins. That's an all.
That's an
Just
all-timer.
get on, give us your parlay, shotgun, and then see you.
That was one of the most efficient things I've ever
Oh,
seen.
that was so good.
This is why we do this.
That's what
This
we
is
got to end on
incredible.
that note.
All
right?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to end on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, geez, couldn't even let me get into it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. You can hit the music now. Wait, that was just, I don't even know what to say after that. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, to the Ryan Ripken Show. My name is Brad. We had Rocco in studio. We had Zach as well. It has been awesome. With or without Rip, we get it done.
Exactly.
We haven't had nerd clusters, by the way.
Yeah. Get these if you haven't had them already.
haven't.
We'll see you next time. Bam.